So in chapter 10 on the homework, you're going to be writing hypotheses. And so we've talked about this earlier, both in the notes and then in the practice problems. You would have to have written them in WAMAP. In addition, there's a couple videos about how to take a statement and write it into the two different hypotheses. So if you recall, this is the null, this is the alternative. The null is what we always believe to be true. It will contain the equal sign. The alternative will either be less than, greater than, or not equal to. So we will be saying less than means numbers are to the left on the number line. This will be to the right on the number line, and this is, we're not really sure. So the null is what we believe to be true, and this is what we're trying to test. Be sure to use the correct symbols. You have a couple symbols to think about. You have this mu, it looks like an M and a U, it's called mu, and it is the mean of the population. And this is if you have a value. P for proportion is when you have a percentage. So as you read these problems, make sure you check, is there a percentage? That would be a different symbol, P, than if I was just looking at 12 ounces, that value is mu. In addition, we have a different type of hypotheses that we'll be dealing with, and this will also happen on the islands when you do an experiment. If we are doing matched pairs, meaning I did the pre, I did the post, and I'm comparing the difference between myself, that is a matched pair. If I was comparing myself to you, that is not a matched pair. We'll be looking at matched pair, pre and post test, and so we have a different way of expressing that null and alternative hypotheses. We use M and D for difference. Notice it's a lowercase, and again, these are in the notes. So this will be mu D. So H naught is mu D is equal to 0, meaning that there is no difference. My pre and post test matches. So in the experiment, the treatment I gave you had no effect. This is again the null. The alternative is mu D is either going to be greater than 0. The numbers got larger, the differences were greater than 0. Mu D is less than 0, that's a D, meaning the post was less than, so the difference is negative. Or I'm not sure if there's going to be a greater than or less than. Maybe I'm not sure if there's going to be a difference. I don't know. This is I suspect it'll be less, I suspect it'll be more. Here I just don't know. Okay, we do these before running the test. And this is what you'll do on the island. So notice that lowercase d. How do you get that if you're trying to use technology? There is this is called a subscript. So you can find the subscript up in the toolbar ribbon.